Hey there, it's 2026, you know what that means? Yep, that's exactly right. I got a lot of movies that I didn't watch, so I gotta make videos on them. It's backlog season. So I usually make these kind of videos when I don't have enough time throughout the year to watch certain movies that I did want to watch, so I usually make these kind of videos. So yeah, here we go with 4 movies that I recently watched that came out in 2025. They are Death of a Unicorn, Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, and Hurry Up Tomorrow. Starting with Death of a Unicorn. Directed by Alex Sharfman with Will Poulter, Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, and yeah, some other people. I thought this movie was just fine. I know A24 usually like to make these weird movies once in a while or pretty much all throughout the year. I will say this isn't one of their best movies that they made, but it's still fine to watch. I just didn't get anything out of it. I thought there was a lot of good funny moments throughout the film. I definitely had a good amount of laughs, especially from Will's character. I thought his character was pretty funny, and Jenna and Paul Rudd kind of just played generic dad and daughter who's trying to get along because their mom passed away, and they're here on this little mini adventure involving a freaking unicorn. The story involves them going to this meeting for a new job that Paul Rudd's character wants to get, and they eventually run into a unicorn. Like, they literally run into it, and they find themselves in a little bit of shenanigans with unicorns. Like I said, the story is nothing too crazy. It's just a fine movie. It wasn't very, amazing movie to watch, but it was pretty fine to watch if you have some spare time and you want to see something weird and freaky. There are some nice visuals here and there, some okay camera shots, but nothing too crazy. Everyone's acting was pretty fine. No one really didn't stand out. There really wasn't any, message to tell. I just wanted to be a weird movie just to, have on in the background. That's kind of how I felt like. Seems like this would just be a movie I would just put on in the background at a party or something. There's also just not a lot of movies involving unicorns, at least as far as I know. So it's very interesting to see this, movie's depiction of a unicorn. There was some fantasy elements to it involved. The unicorns also looked pretty okay at times as well. This movie also took place in the dark a good amount of times, so it was easy for them to hide imperfections, but the unicorn also was shown in the daylight, so there are moments to see them. This movie had a bit of a meta commentary involved with it because it's like the pharmaceutical people are trying to get the unicorn to sell their dust and meat to heal people and get rich off of them. But of course, unicorns are supposed to be these magical creatures, and you could probably tell before watching the movie that that doesn't sound like a great idea, abusing unicorns and using them to make a profit. There definitely are elements of supernatural things, foretellings of oh, this is what the unicorns mean in this world. The unicorns themselves are just also a thing in this movie. There really isn't any crazy explanation. The unicorns are just here in this world. They're actually introduced in the movie very early on. Paul and Jenna's character just are on this trip, and they go through this foresty area, and there's a sign that says, oh, beware the wildlife, and most people think it's probably just bears or deers or whatever, but no. Fucking unicorns. The movie also took place at this mansion area surrounded by forests, and there really wasn't any good scenes, good shots. Didn't really take advantage of the environment, but again, maybe the movie just wasn't trying to do that. There were some times where it felt a bit creepy and unsettling. The unicorns are definitely not creatures you want to mess with. And I mentioned earlier, the majority of this movie takes place at nighttime or in the dark, so there really wasn't any great lighting shots or moments here and there. Overall, the movie was kind of just all over the place, but overall, just kind of a simple movie. Just wanted to be some dumb fun. I don't know if that's what they were going for with this movie. If you do like a movie about some characters getting into some wacky shenanigans with a unicorn and its consequences, then yeah, you may like this movie. For me, I didn't really like it that much. It's just fine. It's passable. I will give it a 6 out of 10. Up next is Frankenstein on Netflix. And my goodness, was this movie absolutely amazing. It's definitely going to be one of the better movies that came out this year, and I highly recommend everyone watch it. The story is, of course, about Frankenstein, the actual scientist. His name is Victor Frankenstein, and his creation that he made. His character is obsessed with creating life from death, and he eventually succeeds. Obviously, this movie's called Frankenstein, but again, he's actually called the creature, and he, of course, succeeds in doing this. But man, does there come a lot of consequences with that. This movie, and by the way, I'm just going to call the creature Frankenstein, and I'm just going to call Victor Frankenstein Victor because it's easier that way. But this movie did a great job with humanizing Frankenstein as a character. You definitely get to feel and experience the things that he is going through, as he is literally just this zombified character that's come to life, and he doesn't know why. Victor's character is definitely explored because you see this man wanting to achieve this impossible thing, and we even get to know why he wants to do this, and it's just a really good story overall. Really great moments, really great acting performances by everyone, especially Oscar Isaac, who plays Victor, and Jacob Elordi, I believe it's pronounced, who plays Frankenstein, or the creature. This movie is also paced really well because we get to see the story told by Victor, and then halfway through the movie it kind of stops but picks back up and tells the story of Frankenstein, and we get to see how he came to be in this whole movie. We get to see all the crazy things he sees and the people he met, because he did meet some people, you know, you may be able to tell by the trailer. The camera shots were absolutely gorgeous. There's this one specific camera shot where Frankenstein, like, again, the creature, was like in the distance on the snowy wasteland, and the sunset with it was just so beautiful. I really loved that shot, and there were so many other amazing shots as well. The costume designs for this movie was absolutely beautiful, and honestly, I have a feeling this movie might win for costume design and sets, because my goodness, was the costumes just amazing. It really did feel extravagant. I don't know if it's too fictional, but who really knows? There is still a lot of mystery when it comes to Frankenstein, the creature, because it seems like it's just this thing that should not be happening, but Victor was able to do it. So there is some mystery to be with this movie. Its overall message it's trying to tell is also really great about Frankenstein trying to experience life and the hardships that he goes through with being created. Like, he didn't ask for any of this, and he is also a simple character. He does want simple things, and I won't say too much about that. It can definitely be very gruesome. There's definitely a good amount of like violence in this movie, so look out for that. There's also a lot of sweet moments between certain characters, a lot of moments that'll definitely make you go, aw. The movie is a little bit longer than most movies. It's actually like 2.5 hours, or kind of like 2 hours and 10 minutes, really. So it is a good amount of time, but it's a good time to be immersed into the movie. They actually take advantage of a lot of things. There isn't like any wasted scenes. Yeah, really, I think the best parts of this movie is the way it looked, the way it was shot, the way it was trying to tell its story, its pacing, its characters. It was all just a really nice, well-done story, a really nice movie, and you should definitely go and watch it. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. It's that good. Up next is Sentimental Value, a Norwegian film that is directed by JT, let's just call him JT, starring some people that I don't really know, but it has Ellie Fanning, who has been in some American movies that you may know, like Maleficent and The Greats, as well as A Complete Unknown from last year. And this really was a great movie. It's a foreign film, so there is some reading involved. It's not all in English, but there are some good moments still in this movie. The pacing for this movie can be a bit slow, so if you're not really into those movies, you're not really going to like this movie. It somewhat also jumps all over the place. Sometimes you won't really get to learn the entire full picture until the movie is completely over. Obviously, the story is about these sisters who have their dad come back into their lives because of their mom passing away, and he wants them to be involved with this movie, but they obviously don't want to because of all the history that is involved. And this movie deals with trauma and, you know, parents not being there for their children and the effects of this and how it affects them. It is a kind of simple movie, but it's really well done. I do love the music that was in this movie as well. Like, I will say the music is the best part, and I'm pretty sure it's its own original score. Not really too sure. There was 1 or 2 songs that I actually did Shazam, so that's a good sign. The settings and the camera shots that they had throughout this film was kind of basic, I will say. Like, don't go into this film expecting some like amazing movie that well, it is an amazing movie, but don't expect something like insane or crazy or over the top. I think it just wanted to be a very heartfelt movie. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the acting was amazing. Like, everyone was believable characters. No one really didn't have a bad role in anything. I do think its messages that it was trying to tell to its audiences is very important and, you know, very well done. These characters definitely do feel real. Like, it plays with the performances, but these characters are definitely real people. When you watch this movie, like, you can definitely see them being real life people. Probably just said that a bunch of times, but yeah, I just want to really drive that point home. For me personally, it didn't really, you know, hit my emotional points that much as well. Now, I can't really just say that's going to be the case for everyone. You know, every movie is different for everyone, but I can definitely see this movie being very relatable for a lot of people, and a lot of people just really enjoying it for that. I think overall, I don't really have too much to say, really. I think it was just a really well done movie. It's a pretty fine movie. Like, I'm not going to say this movie was like fantastic or spectacular, but I think it was just very well done. It had a lot of heart, a lot of emotion behind it, and I think it's a very important story to tell. This isn't like one of my favorite movies ever, but I still think this was a very well done movie. And, you know, I think if the trailer seems okay to people, I think they will enjoy it. I think you will like it if you decide to watch it. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna give it a good old 8 out of 10. It was just a really good movie. That's all I can really say. Alright, I saved the best one for last. And that's Hurry Up Tomorrow. And, oh man. Boy, was this a movie. So, this movie is kind of like a movie that goes hand in hand with the album released by The Weeknd called Hurry Up Tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. It's this movie that's supposed to like tell the story of The Weeknd playing The Weeknd. You know, he's playing himself, and it was also produced by him as well. And it wanted to tell this like psychological horror-esque type movie about the struggles he himself goes through. Now, I don't know everything about The Weeknd. I really don't know too much, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe to him this movie was really important for him, and I can kind of see where he was going with some of the things, but man, did it just come off as just arrogance and narcissistic. I don't know, but really the Weeknd's character is just not a really good person, and he's a very selfish person as well. Jenna Ortega is in this movie. She plays I feel like her character is just not important. Like, I also didn't really think she did like a crazy good performance. Her role could have been really given to anyone. I don't know if she was just in this movie just for name recognition. I don't know. But she plays this character that wants to help The Weeknd, you know, get over his traumas and his pain that he's going through, because in this movie, he's going through a lot of shit involving his relationships, and he does a lot of things that are like not the healthiest thing. And again, I can kind of understand where The Weeknd was coming from. Maybe to him and other people, like, they relate to this, and you know, it puts them in a vulnerable situation where they have to act like this, but it's just really not the healthiest thing to do. There's this whole meta conversation about him like damaging and hurting other people around him, and Jenna Ortega's character is also just like that. These are kind of like the only two characters in this film, really. There is like The Weeknd's like manager friend who's in this movie. I guess Sabrina Carpenter dated him. He's kind of a interesting character, not really someone The Weeknd should really be around, but that's his friend, and whatever. The movie had decent shots, good camera movements and all that, like some nice colors here and there, and like decent visuals and effects, I will say, but not to a crazy standard. Like, it was just really decent, but I really can't think of anything else to say positive about this movie. The acting was really bad and cheesy. The writing was also just really bad and cheesy. Like, this whole film's direction was just arrogant and cheesy and very selfish, if anything. I can see this movie trying to be very artsy with its choices and direction that it went with, but I didn't really vibe with it. I really wasn't even a fan of the whole movie and its characters to begin with, so you're not really going to get me on its artsy elements. The pacing is also just really slow and boring. Like, this movie also could have just been 30 minutes long, and I don't know if that was the point, because again, it has something to do, it's like telling the story in the album that he released, and I guess this movie was only purpose was made, it was for the album. I don't know really, but overall, like, this movie was just not fun to watch. It was just a bunch of eye candy, a lot of like pointless and meaningless scenes that doesn't really go anywhere, that doesn't really latch on to people. I personally just cannot emotionally like latch onto this or really say it's great, like not even a little bit. It's gonna be really forgettable, and I don't know, man. This movie is just not gonna be standing out like that much, especially as time goes on. This is just gonna be seen as one of those, oh yeah, he did make a movie type of movie that was also really bad. There really isn't much to like about this, and the few things that are like anything to like, it's really just not that great. Also, like, if you wanted to watch a cheesy movie with The Weeknd talking about shit that he should probably learn from like sooner in his life, then yeah, maybe you'll like this movie. And I guess its ending was kind of like, oh, it's all supposed to be part of his life and his journey, and well, the whole like being reborn, and if you watch the movie you know what I mean. But yeah, this is just a really bad movie. It's just not really anything interesting. This movie just also has The Weeknd's music throughout the entire film. Like, all of it is his music, so again, kind of like selfish and arrogant or whatever, but hey, it's his movie. I will give this a 3 out of 10. That's feel like it's the best score it's ever gonna get. But yeah, those were 4 movies that I saw recently that came out in 2025, and I will be back with more movies that I saw that I didn't get a chance to talk about until the Oscars. But yeah, everyone, you have a great rest of your day.